So you were in WCW for 2 years before you signed with WWE?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd worked there since '90, but we signed our contract in '92, me and Phineas, and then we got let go when Flair come back. He brought all his buddies back, so he let me and Hunter and Phineas go. So, of course, in about 6 weeks, I had done sign with WWF. I'd flew up and met with Vince and JJ Dillon, and then Tex come up about a year later after that. And then, of course, Hunter started right after that because me and him had our little marriage together,
Yep,
pin
yep.
match.
I think it's pretty cool, they say like the best gimmicks in wrestling are you turned all the way up, to 11 and so and then back then also like you had like your clowns, your trash men. This was like during the new generation period. So
Yeah,
they gave you this gimmick of a farmer. Um, what was that like?
I was just talking about this the other night with somebody. It was um, easy because I had done it my whole life. I'd been around it my whole life. Hogs and cattle and goats and chickens and sheep, the whole 9 yards, horses. But yeah, transitioning to it was easy because it was secondhand to me. At first, I didn't know how the overalls and the boots were going to go over as far as working. But man, after I got used to it, took me a couple weeks to get used to it. But after that, it was easy. I liked it, liked the overalls, and just felt more secure and safe. I don't know. I guess because I had so many clothes on, but yeah, it was a good thing. I liked it.
So did they had you not really, but they kind of had you put with Ted DiBiase at first, assisting him out with some
Yeah,
matches, and then eventually you got you got into a feud with Triple H. That had to have been some of the most fun to have a hog pin match of all things in wrestling. Pig slop everywhere. It's very innovative and different. Walk me
yeah.
through the process of finding out about that kind of a stipulation.
Well, they had mentioned it, and we were both all for it. Something like that never been done before. We're going to make history and have one. And I just Taker really touched on this when I did his podcast a couple months ago um, about the hog pin match and how I'd scarred Hunter for life. But yeah, when they said we were going to do it, we were excited, and Vince sort of turned it over to me and Hunter. He said, "You guys come up with it." So we were a little nervous and scared, but I think I even told uh, on the 6 Feet Under podcast that I think everybody thought it was going to be a haha match, but it wasn't. We beat the piss out of each other, and I was sore for a couple of days, and he got 15 stitches in his back, and uh, but yeah, we come up with the whole thing, and when we were done, come back, and man, I had that stuff all over me, it was in my ear, and I threw everything away but my boots, and I think my overalls, and everything else I just trashed, and
Oh,
but yeah, Vince was standing there and pulled us in his office, and he goes, "Damn, boys, that was a hell of a match." And it was up for the Slammies that year. That match was, but yeah, that's one of my top matches. And then, of course, when we won the belts the first time in Madison Square Garden, that match, and then their Survivor Series, the BSK with Undertaker. So those are my three top matches, I guess. I
yeah.
got